Hello and welcome to the FilmBunker podcast. My name is Nick and we're here to talk about films and TV and stuff, and this week it's pretty barren. But I'm joined by Karen, Simon, Ben and Kelsey. And has anyone got anything to say to start this off? Apparently not.
Crickets.
Hollywood. Oh, yeah.
Where nothing is happening, apparently.
The Nigerian Hollywood is called Nollywood.
Is that actually... Oh, no, yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
No, it's not.
I don't know if I'd call that
No, have you seen the film?
I haven't seen the film, no. I haven't seen
The films are hilarious.
I think the idea of calling it Nollywood is just stupid.
No, but the films themselves are hilarious.
Is it like Bollywood almost? Oh, no, not Bollywood, sorry. Like the Indian soap operas.
No, it's like real super low budget. Just guys like, we're going to get in a helicopter.
I've seen those. I've actually seen those, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like really shitty effects and it's all like military stuff. Would you call that a film industry?
Apparently.
Yeah.
They have a camera.
Yeah.
Do they make money though? Exactly.
Maybe.
I guess if we watched it in Australia,
Let's not insult the Nigerians.
Yeah.
they
come
kind
and get us.
of brought in their shittily animated helicopters.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So before this, I think we were talking about Final Space, and myself, Karen, and Kelsey have seen it.
Take it away.
Yeah, if you could explain what it is, that would be great to start with, because I've literally never heard of it.
Me neither.
Excellent.
I've heard of something
good.
else space that was
Yeah.
out recently. I don't know what it's called though. Talk about this though.
Okay,
Go for it.
so it's a new Netflix 10-episode cartoon, but adult cartoon
Animated
series.
series.
Yeah, animated
What
series.
you mentioned to me?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
Yeah. So you guys can talk about it if you want,
You sure?
storyline-wise. Yeah.
Is that all you know?
Well, it's basically like a mix of Rick and Morty and what else would you say, Karen?
Futurama, maybe?
Yeah.
A little bit. It's, it's not as high concept as Rick and Morty, really, but it's not super stupid humor either. It's kind of clever in its own way, and it's about a man called Gary on a prison ship who finds this adorable little green ball called Mooncake, who houses the power of a nuclear weapon, and he will protect Mooncake at all costs, and then things happen because of that. And
So there's an
it's a
evil
change story,
emperor
yeah.
played by David Tennant who's after
Oh, really?
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's after Mooncake, and we haven't got to the point, myself and Karen have only seen up to episode 8, but we haven't got to the point where we see what happens later. But I think Kelsey's
just-
finished it.
Are they just half-hour episodes or like
20
minutes.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So each episode, and like the first one starts with what's clearly near the end as well. So like he's sort of a big explosion has obviously happened, or some kind of battle, and he's sort of floating out in space, and then his little AI that's in his helmet is sort of saying, you have this much many minutes of air left, and then it just sort of slowly
Right.
dwindles every episode of how much air he has left, and then we're trying to figure out how he got to that
Right.
place.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, right.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. So who makes it? Do you know who makes
It's a
it?
guy called Olin Rogers.
No idea who that is.
Yeah.
He was apparently, because I looked him up a little bit, he was an independent filmmaker before this. Final Space isn't really a Netflix original. It's actually a cable TV show in
I think it's
America.
TBS, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
And they've then released it on Netflix everywhere else in the world. And it came out with no fanfare. Like, the only reason we watched it was because we saw the trailer on Netflix while we were scrolling through.
Right.
Probably because it's, if you like Rick and Morty, you'll like
Yeah.
this. So it's got renewed for a second season, so it's obviously done well enough.
Nice.
And some of the voices in it, like Tom Kenny, who voices SpongeBob's in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
The first couple of episodes was, for me, it was like, this is good, but, I'll keep going with it, see how it goes. But it's got more and more clever as time's gone on.
Right.
The characters, I find, are actually really well written. And they do a lot of homages to sci-fi and
Yeah.
sci-fi films. Like, they've done an entire sequence basically from Attack of the Clones.
Why pick that one? But okay.
They're in like kind of like a gladiator arena.
Oh,
and
it's that bit, right.
It's that bit from Attack of the Clones, and they get airlifted kind
It's
of
like
out by the prison ship.
The okay bit
Yeah.
in the movie.
Exactly. Yeah, the only good bit.
I'd say okay, but that's another topic. I remember you showing me, I think just either the trailer or still images.
Still images.
Still
Yeah.
images. And I was not a particularly big fan of the art style or the animation from what I saw.
It gets better, I feel.
How's that? What do you mean?
You
Does it actually change?
Less that it gets better and more just grows on you, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I'd say that about the show, like in general, almost. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, I went into it kind of in a lull of Rick and Morty. So I was like,
Right.
oh, maybe this will, sate me kind of thing. Like I'll be able to survive without Rick and Morty by watching this instead. And then same thing, like you come into the humor and you're like, oh, it's not that intelligent. Like, it's a bit dumb. And same with animation, you're like, oh, it's very childish. But then I was totally hooked within 2 episodes, and like I watched it in a day and a half, I would say.
So is that partly the reason you think it's done so well is because Rick and Morty isn't on right now, and so people are looking for a void to be filled?
I think...
Not that I'm saying it's
doing
bad,
that-
I haven't seen it. So.
No, it's like, in doing that, though, it is a very good kind of little... kind of Rick and Morty methadone.
Yeah.
It really is. It's because it's different enough that you're not there like, oh, this is just a Rick and Morty clone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I find it obviously takes a lot of the same influences as Rick and Morty does. And the animation on the backgrounds and the environments they're in is awesome. Like, that animation's great. The character animation does look like it could be more aligned with kind of kid show animation.
That's kind of what put me off of it. I didn't like the design of I think they're the main characters from what you showed me. I can't remember specifically.
Yeah, it grows on you, though.
It does grow on you.
Yeah, you can kind of forgive that very easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mooncake is adorable, though. So Mooncake is adorable.
The characters are really strong, too.
I love the characters. Yeah.
Gary's basically just nuts. He's just insane.
Who plays Gary?
Olin Rogers himself does.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool.
who animates it?
I'm not too sure.
No, me
I
neither.
do know
Who's
it's
the art
executive
director?
produced by Conan O'Brien. I know that.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
I mean, he was one of the writers on The Simpsons.
He was.
Yeah.
He's
So it
quite
makes
intelligent.
sense.
Yeah, he knows how to write.
So Olin Rogers was
obviously.
actually a YouTuber.
There you
What?
go.
What? Sorry, an actual YouTuber? Or...
I just said, just haven't had a look on IMDb, and it just says that he was a YouTuber
Okay.
previously. I'm
Interesting.
Trying to see if I could find who actually animates it, but I'm probably not going to be able to find that. So
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, Conan O'Brien,
Executive
producer of it, is bizarre. When did this show come out?
It was just
Not on Netflix. I mean, because you said it was in
Not
America
long ago,
before.
eh?
No, not
it
long
was,
ago.
No.
Because we're their global premiere is Netflix.
Right.
So it can't have been... I think it was this year, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause the
Oh, yeah,
second
it was this
season's
year.
not- yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I just-
pretty recently, I think.
It just sounds like a really bizarre mix of people to make this show.
David Tennant was a really bizarre thing
yeah.
to see when, like... Because we just went into it after watching the trailer on Netflix and thought that would be cool to watch just before bed as a little thing to watch. And, to see David Tennant's name in the credits, it was like, really? Okay.
So you can actually tell it was him?
You can.
Okay.
It could,
you know,
I mean,
I
in the
feel like
beginning
You know,
credits,
Does he
yeah.
have his accent? Or is it...
No, it's
No.
it's not even American. It's kind of like a villain accent.
Oh,
That's basically right.
Yeah, it's been like synthesized basically.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's him. But it was just because in the beginning credits, they just have the names there. And Tom Kenny's name came up, and so did David Tennant's.
And it's not a huge surprise because he's getting into voice acting a lot more lately because he's in DuckTales as well.
Yes, which is phenomenal.
Yes, it is.
The new DuckTales is great.
I haven't even seen it. I just need to watch the video of the whole voice cast singing the
yeah.
DuckTales tune.
It's great.
It is excellent.
No, I actually watched a few episodes of the new DuckTales because I love DuckTales. It's just something I really, really enjoy. And in the new one, it's actually so surprising how clever it is. And they did the one episode I watched, they did an entire homage to The Warriors, which is an R18 film, so no kid would know what it all is, but they had all of the different gangs all coming together into this peace armistice because it was the Beagle Boys' mum's birthday, and
Yeah, they had all the different factions of the Beagle Boys come together, and they were all basically homages to the different gangs from the Warriors.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just
So
it's
no one
really
would know
funny.
unless no kid would know.
I was gonna say, I guess
No.
it's not really made for kids, really. The new DuckTales.
No, it still works as a kids show.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it probably
got-
can.
yeah.
but the audience that are going to watch it are going to be the previous fans of DuckTales anyway, who are
As well,
adults.
yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be probably equally split.
Yeah, because it's doing really well because they had like this whole panel at San Diego Comic-Con this year as well.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And, you know, Don Cheadle's apparently going to play Donald Duck.
Is it?
Oh no.
That's awful. That's no.
I like it a lot.
The voice is perfect though. The voice is fine. It's
How?
he just obviously can do a great Donald Duck impression
say,
and they
how?
dialed him.
Yeah, you really can't tell
I know.
whoever does Donald Duck because
Yeah.
it's such a weird freaking voice.
But like David Tennant's Scrooge McDuck's awesome and like the humour in it is really good as well. So I'm just
Yeah,
I want to
watch
see
it.
what more of it. Yeah. I
What's it
wanna-
available on? Like, is it out
Is it
properly?
Netflix?
Or...
I think it's probably out, isn't it? It's
No.
Are you sure?
I think it's just on Cartoon Network or something, isn't it?
No,
God
it's
damn it.
Disney
It's
XD.
Disney. It's Disney XD.
Oh,
Yeah, and because
man.
we have Disney XD as part of our package on our
Fetchbox.
Fetch
Right.
Box. Not
Oh.
sponsored at all.
But they are great.
we have
anyway.
one.
Also, give us money, Disney.
Yeah.
Give us money up to us, please.
I still watch Saturday Disney and I'm 24. Give
Yeah.
me money.
Oh, I watched. I went through a phase of watching the new Raven's Home when I was on holidays, and I just wanted something light to watch, so I watched it despite.
It's not that light, is it? Oh, some episodes are. I only heard mixed things.
It's
about it.
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay.
You're never gonna beat the classic show though.
No, you're never going to really beat that kind of era, I think, for us.
Even no matter how hard they try,
Yeah.
which is the trend. But we spoke about a lot of that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, DuckTales was really good. And I think, yeah, probably David Tennant's doing a lot more voice acting work.
He'd be great for that sort of stuff. Like,
Oh, he's excellent. He's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
animated.
yeah, and just yeah.
You see him in like the voice booths, and he just goes nuts.
Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah. And it's a kind of good job to do as well in between things because they usually get everyone to record separately anyway.
Yeah.
So they kind of will get someone in for a big chunk of time and then you just do it. And
Also, you don't have to travel necessarily. You can have voicing booths in various different countries.
yeah, I
So
don't
you
know
can-
how that works, whether they do
Well, you have
that.
you have a voicing director, and then
Yeah.
either,
they
the
just
voi-
have-
either the voicing director travels,
Yeah.
or a lot
They
of them
just
do
go
it
to
online.
they just go to a studio and they just do their lines.
Yeah, and sometimes it'll be like online over Skype where they'll get feedback.
I saw a video with Simon Pegg
yeah.
and he was talking about going through all his different characters. And when he voiced a character, the Weasel from some of the later Ice Age movies,
Oh yeah,
he mentioned he's never met any of the other people in the movie. He's
Yeah,
never
no,
met Ray
that's
Romano
pretty
or
common.
anything because he just
Yeah.
would go, I guess, in England to
Yeah.
the studio and just record his lines.
it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can get all of it done in a day, pretty
Basically.
much,
Yeah.
if you can. Yeah,
well, that's what Paul Bettany
Yeah,
said.
Paul
Yeah,
Bettany
exactly.
was
Just
so
turned up and
funny.
just got his bag of money and left.
Yeah. He just said that he would turn up, say some lines, and they'd use Jarvis, like the AI, as a way to patch up all of the CGI that didn't work. So
Right.
they'd use him for those pieces of action, like, oh, Tony, they've come through the building, because they couldn't animate them coming through the building. And so he would basically come in after,
Exposition.
yeah.
that's great.
He'd come in after production, be there for a day. He said sometimes it was only 45 minutes worth of audio he'd have to record, like he'd
amazing.
do. And then he'd just be like, Tony, they're coming through the roof or this or that. And then they'd give him a bag of money, he said, and then he'd leave. And he said it was the best job ever.
That is my dream job.
That is an amazing
I would
job.
love to do
everyone's
voice
dream
recording.
job.
The amount of credits you get as well from voice acting is amazing. It looks so good on like an IMDb because it's like 100 different things in like a year.
And I think it's just cool because it shows range in kind of a
It
more
does,
bizarre way. Like,
Yeah.
so you can kind of go, oh, they can do like that accent, or oh my god, they completely transformed into an evil villain when they look like a petite, tiny woman or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's cool.
It's pretty interesting, I guess, because it's not like working on a film where you have a crunch time for like 6 months, but you're just having a lot of small different projects each couple of weeks or so. So it easily wouldn't get boring. And like you said, it would show range.
Oh, unless you're on like a long running series.
Yeah, but even then there'd probably be gaps between it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do
But
like...
it would take longer to.
It would take longer,
So
for sure.
I watched a thing with I think his name's Chris Sabat, the guy who voices Vegeta. In
Oh, yeah,
Dragon
yeah.
Ball Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy who voices Goku, I can't remember.
I can't remember.
And they were
his
just
name,
talking about how like I think it was like 10 years basically worth of their life because
There'd be
there's
like-
so many episodes.
I know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Like
that-
they'd have gaps, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
But they would be in the studio a lot longer than say like someone who's just doing a movie. Like you're saying, like
Yeah.
they'd go in for probably like a few weeks or maybe tops a month.
And I guess because that's translation as well.
Yeah, true.
So that's,
Yeah, but they wouldn't be part of that.
no, they would
To an
be-
extent.
To an extent,
Yeah.
I don't think they would be handed a script and be like, read this. It'd probably be like because they have to try and get it as natural as possible.
There'd be translators doing it.
They'd be translate. I think it'd be a collaborative thing. I'm only guessing. I have no.
Oh, they
idea.
Actually, they did mention about like ad-libbing lines. And I
Yeah.
think they said they never did.
Really?
Yeah, like I think they said like once they put in, it was something to do with like saying Son Goku.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like because they never say. I think it's
They
Son
just say
Goku in the
Goku.
dub. They just say Goku.
They say Goku, yeah.
He fit in saying Son Goku like once,
Really?
and that's it. Like that's the
Wow.
only ad lib they ever did.
Well, yeah, because the
Yeah.
animation's all done, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
They wouldn't really have any time to play with, and then and that's probably why the translations are so weird as well. Sometimes, you know, that you're just like,
Usually with the high like the shonen stuff, it's usually pretty good. It's the other stuff where the translation falls.
Or
a lot of
the
time.
Dragon Ball Z one, where what
Which
was
one?
it? Another
that's like
company did
the
it.
the green dub and all those
Yeah.
other ones. Yeah, those really awful like Vietnam ones, and like the French one apparently is hilarious. The Spanish one apparently is absolutely hilarious because it has absolutely nothing to do with the show like at all, and it's just
I love when they do that.
and it's like super
Yeah.
meta as well at the same time. Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
We went to see BlacKkKlansman.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that's
ago.
right.
Yeah.
Which isn't actually out yet.
No,
As of
it
recording
was
this.
really early.
Mm.
The screening review coming soon.
Yeah, that should be up next week.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
tell us about the storyline.
Without spoilers.
Okay, well,
If you want a challenge.
well, not really spoiling anything. I'll just tell you what's kind of told you already in the trailer.
Yeah.
There's a African American police officer who works in intelligence, and he decides to call an ad for the Ku Klux Klan and pretend he's white, and then his partner is kind of the body of the man, and they infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan together. The African American over the phone, Adam Driver in person, and it's basically about trying to figure out whether the Ku Klux Klan are actually going to try to do something violent or
It's just it starts as just an intelligence investigation, just to find out more about them.
Yeah.
And then he finds out that
It presumably
might have like a plan to
escalates.
do something,
Yeah.
and it escalates from there.
Right, okay.
Adam Driver is brilliant. So is the main character. I'm going to look up his name.
He's a new actor, isn't he?
I think he is.
I
Yeah.
love Adam Driver.
Yeah.
I think like it's everything I've seen him in.
I know,
I
he's
love
really
him, man.
good.
Like,
Yeah,
I think he's great.
He's really good. And in this as well, it's a more subtle performance, but it's really, really, really good.
It's really nice to see him in different stuff after Star Wars.
Mm.
It's always nice just seeing actors in those high profile roles go outside and do their own thing.
Yeah.
So the main character's name, his name is John David Washington.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I think he's just, like you said, I think he is a pretty new actor.
He seemed new. I didn't
Yeah.
recognize him from anything.
Doesn't have, I don't think, too many credits to his name. He's in Ballers. He was in Malcolm X.
So
Um,
this is probably his big break.
Yeah, that's about it, really.
Right, okay.
Monsters and Men, Love Beats Rhymes, The Old Man. That's literally it. Yeah.
Who's
So I
the
think maybe he
director
was
and
in
stuff?
Spike Lee.
It's a Spike Lee joint, as
Yeah.
it says.
Oh, is that what it says in the trailer?
Yeah.
It says that on
Oh.
the poster, and the movie opens with the title, and it says a Spike
That's great.
Yeah.
And it's based on a true story, isn't it?
Jordan
Yeah.
Peele's the producer also.
That's
That's what I
right.
was trying
That's
to think
right.
of. Yeah.
And the guy from that 70 show's in it as well.
Yes. And he's really good as David
Yeah.
Duke. He actually
plays
does a
David Duke.
really good performance as David Duke. And it's funny. As, like, the movie is actually funny without
Being too preachy.
being too... Well, the thing is, it does make a point.
Well, yeah.
But it strongly makes its point.
Oh, very strong.
But it's done in such a way that it's a lot more nuanced than
Right.
just, we are preaching a message to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't really push it in your face. It doesn't make you feel bad for being white. Like some things sometimes feel like that.
And I guess also it sounds like it stands on its own as a movie.
Oh yeah, it's a brilliant movie itself. And also David Duke, if you don't know, was the former head of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, I gathered that from the trailer. No, it looks excellent, honestly. I was very excited when I saw the trailer for that.
No, it was excellent. You know, I went in there thinking that it would be kind of fun movie. I didn't really know that Spike Lee was attached to it when I first saw the trailer. But then, yeah, you watch it and it's got so many really good stylistic moments as well that you don't expect from a film like that. And so many, really clever and inventive ways of telling the story, while also being funny, while also, punching your heart a little bit a few times as well. It's a very strong movie with a very strong message, but it's done with subtlety and nuance at the same time.
Right.
What genre is it falling under?
It's
is it
really...
a
Sounds like it's a
comedy, or
mix.
Is it a drama?
Yeah.
Is it a dramedy?
I think that it's one of those films that you can't classify it as much. It is a comedy in a sense that they are making fun of...
So it's got drama crime film, which I
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of see. That's what it's...
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like a
Awesome.
crime
Just
film
with
as well.
elements
Yeah.
of humour.
Yeah, it's
interwoven
got
or
the
something.
humour in it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I really like about that's what I was trying to think of before with Jordan Peele, because I was like, he's awesome. Like, he's so good at exactly that, like doing a bit of a commentary on things without shoving it down people's
Yeah,
throats.
for sure.
I don't know, I have a real appreciation for him.
No, I agree with that. Especially right now, he is going gangbusters with everything he's doing, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, it is really
And it's
good.
refreshing
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I really do think this deserves some sort of nominations for the next
Cool.
year. I don't know if
Probably
it will, but I think it definitely deserves
Well,
it.
Spike Lee isn't in very good with the Oscars, so we'll see.
Oh,
but...
who gives a crap about the Oscars?
Oh,
No,
I know.
exactly.
I think it deserves it.
Room for
I
the
don't
white
care,
men.
but
It probably, yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
whoever pays them the most money.
Yeah, pretty much.
It probably won't be that.
Yeah, exactly. It might be just from, yes.
It'll be whatever fucking movie comes out at the end of the year. I don't know if there's any Oscarbait that's been announced yet.
Well, speaking of the Oscars, actually, this morning, Nick and I just randomly decided to look at who won Best Animated Feature Film for,
When?
like, between
The last
ever.
few years.
Right,
Right, but in the last few years. So,
Coco was one of them, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
The one last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think would have won between Kung Fu Panda, WALL-E, Waltz with Bashir, and there was another one that obviously didn't win?
I would have gone with Wall-E.
Yeah, but I know it wasn't WALL-E.
Is
No.
it going to be Kung Fu Panda?
Kung Fu
damn
Panda
it.
Aw.
won the Best Animated Feature Film.
Because
Of that year.
even
Of
though
that year.
WALL-E was phenomenal.
Yes, that really surprised me. Like, Waltz with Bashir is phenomenal, but it's something that no one's ever really seen or heard of unless you're kind of
In the
in the know,
Yeah.
I guess. It's a animated documentary film about Israel.
it's
And
that
conflict,
one. Right. Yeah.
So I can understand why that didn't win, but the fact that Kung Fu Panda won over both of those just really, like...
Did Up win the year
Yeah.
that it came out? Good.
But Up won over Howl's Moving Castle, which was interesting.
Oh.
No, that doesn't surprise me.
But Spirited Away won the year it was
Yeah, it
in.
did. 2003, I think.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just really interesting because obviously Disney and Pixar just rule the roost
Yeah.
with them all. How to Train Your Dragon 2 won over Big Hero 6, which I was...
I'm not a fan of that, but
Controversy.
okay.
I
How
am...
to Train Your Dragon 2 was better.
Oh, mate.
I like Big Hero
Big Hero 6 is phenomenal.
I think
like
Big
Big
Hero
Hero
6 is better.
Same. Absolutely.
Like, How to Train Your Dragon 2 was better than the first, but I don't think How to Train Your Dragon 2 is better than Big Hero.
See, for me, How to Train Your Dragon should have won over Tangled, and they just reneged
Yeah.
on that by making How to Train Your Dragon 2 win.
Tangled's not great.
And they're never going to be right because they're going to be making up for them.
That's the problem half the
That's
time.
what
That, like,
annoys me.
Leonardo DiCaprio winning for, what was it?
The
Revenant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
That's
just because, oh,
insane.
Soz, dude, you
Yeah.
still haven't gotten one. It's
mean,
like,
it was
he should not have got it for that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was phenomenal in that, but it wasn't a good movie.
Meh.
He was great in it. The movie itself was
It was
I'm going to
alright.
lock in.
Yeah, the thing with that movie that just kind of annoyed me was it wasn't really about the film itself.
Oh, fuck no.
It was all about, like, the director saying, we're only filming in natural light, which I'm sorry, that I get that's cool, but it's a really inefficient way to make a movie. There's a reason why lighting exists, to look natural.
There's
And
no story to that movie.
I mean,
I mean, Tom Hardy does a bunch of really bad shit, and I love that in any film.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
the acting is excellent. DiCaprio is great. Tom Hardy's great. And I mean, the cinematography is great. I'm not going to say it's a
yeah.
good movie, though.
There's never going to win an Oscar, that film.
As a
think.
film newbie, I thought it was, like, entertaining. I'm not going to say it's a good movie, and I'm not going to watch it again, though.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of those that you would
Yes.
watch. Yeah, definitely.
It was complete wank, but
I think, yeah, that's what really bugs me about the whole Oscar experience is
Oh,
that
yeah.
they're stuck in this loop now of like, we've got this actress, she looks like she might retire soon, better give her
them that,
best
yeah.
actress. Like, it's just, I don't know, it drives me nuts.
A lot of the
yeah.
actors don't give a crap. They only really care about Screen Actors Guild because that's actually voted by their peers. Whereas the Oscars is a mix of people in the industry, and I think it's like 10% actors or something like that. So they don't really care that much.
The thing is, I don't mind that actors are voted on by other people in the industry, or that films are voted on by a wide range of people in the industry. That would be good. But it's not really a wide range of people in the industry,
No,
as
that's
they
what I mean.
found out.
It's very skewed.
White.
It's very
It's very white, male.
old male white.
They
Male.
added a lot of new people in after that, though.
Yeah, they did.
One woman. Woo.
Yeah, she's...
It's not 100%
Give me a good
out.
thing.
But I find that the Oscars have just, because of what happened with The Deer Hunter, which was a movie that didn't make any money, so they decided to push it for Academy Awards, found out that by baiting the Academy Awards, they made more money on it, and because that succeeded, suddenly now that's why we see the Oscar bait.
Yeah.
And I find that people who are really into the Oscars and really care about it, they'll watch all of the Oscar bait of that year and start just debating over a small group of films. And I think now in this kind of climate where normal people are going to the movie to see blockbusters, and, you know, the really good films like, let's say, the sleeper hits like Get Out and things like that are kind of talked about on the internet and talked about how good they are. But then in the Oscars, because it's that small selection of films, like this year, Shape of Water came out at the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
Three Billboards, despite being phenomenal, did come out at the right time.
Yeah.
I find that the reason the Oscars viewership numbers are going down isn't just because of the controversy, it's just because it's not what people watch anymore.
No, it's stuck in an age that is not really progressing to something. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not moving, it's not innovating in and of itself.
No, I find...
It's not making it interesting.
Yeah, because, come on, who remembers Spotlight that much?
I liked Spotlight.
Yeah, but was that really the seminal film of the year it came out? Was that the film?
I can't remember much else but I like watching the Oscar bait movies purely because that is the genre of movies I like. I like true story, drama, heavy, acted, character-driven stuff. It just happens to be Oscar bait.
I'm always curious to see why. And I think maybe that's also working in reverse a little bit too. It's like, you know, I bet this is, you know, getting calls to get an Oscar. I'm like, oh, I better see why. Like, what's all the fuss
Yeah,
about?
exactly.
It's like, oh, I fell for that. What an idiot.
There's some I don't. Shape of Water I've never had an interest in, ever. It's just, what the fuck is that movie?
Bestiality.
Oh, it's some weird
It's just
shit.
typical Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, he's fucking weird. He's nuts.
And you
He's
enjoy
weird.
it for that reason.
No, I don't.
I mean, he's got a weird range of things with Pan's
He does.
Labyrinth, but then he goes and does like Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Hellboy.
true.
He's
Yeah.
he's got a.
It's when you need the
And
money
then
again.
Hellboy as well. Yeah, people love
Yeah,
Hellboy.
true.
I've
Yeah.
never been a big fan of Hellboy.
Me neither.
Love
That's
it.
fine.
I think it's okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've never been a big fan either.
Yeah, they're rebooting it with is it who's playing Hellboy? I know there's a reboot coming out.
Yeah, there is a reboot.
Yeah.
Why? Why was that necessary?
I mean,
Because
that's why
there's a lot of
question.
People
Well, yeah.
really love Hellboy.
Yeah, the ones who like Hellboy really like Hellboy.
Guillermo del Toro wanted to make Hellboy 3, but then they've rebooted it instead, and he's really salty about it.
I would be too.
Because
Kiss on my creation.
yeah, exactly. That's what it's about. It's kind of
That's
like, and he kind of had a conversation with Edgar Wright about it. Apparently, there was like this whole thing where Edgar Wright was talking to Guillermo del Toro's kind of sorrow of losing Hellboy because Edgar Wright lost Ant-Man.
Oh, right.
Because he worked on it for years and years and years, and then Marvel and him couldn't get along. Probably because Marvel does keep its directors on a tight enough leash.
Yeah.
And Edgar Wright wouldn't respond to that.
Yeah.
So it was, that's where I read it. I read it in like an article about Edgar Wright kind of talking about Guillermo del Toro and that kind of thing.
Interesting.
I'd love to sit in that room.
I know, right? I was just thinking that. That sounds awesome.
I don't know if they're in the same room or whether it was just comments like about each other from different places.
I want to imagine them in like a dive bar in England or something.
Sharing a brandy.
Having some... for some reason I had Guinness in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Probably more accurate.
Yeah.
I went too fancy.
No, in their off time, they're just going to get drunk. That's how you work in the industry.
I feel bad for comedies.
In terms of
do I.
Oscars.
Yeah,
for sure.
and just like recognition, because like making somebody laugh is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And the comedy genre is like one of the first genres as well. And somewhere along the line, like I get that there's a lot of trashy stuff out there, but it's kind of no one cares.
I think
you know, like you see a great comedy and you're like, I was in fits of laughter, and it's like no one cares.
It just gets lumped in with musicals, right?
Yeah.
That's the Golden Globes.
Golden Globes
Yeah.
does. Golden Globes does, yeah.
Oh, Oscars don't.
And The Martian won one year for best comedy and musical.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't even get me started.
Yeah, it was technically classified as a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Because
Yeah,
they
exactly.
have some
I mean-
funny lines, I guess.
I mean, if people don't care about the Oscars, they really don't care about the Golden Globes. So,
Oh, yeah, no. I thought it was with the Oscars.
No, I'm not sure.
With
I know
musicals as well.
I know it's definitely Golden Globes. I'm
Okay.
not
Oh,
sure about
yeah, no,
though.
Oscars doesn't have that category.
Oscars
No.
don't have musicals, I don't think.
They don't have comedy or musical. They
Yeah.
don't have that
Yeah, no,
category at
you're
all.
right. They do. Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Now I'm even angrier.
Yeah, that's even shitter.
Yeah, I find that comedies recently, though, it's really difficult for me. I have watched films that have made me laugh recently, I'm sure. But it's really difficult for me to actually go, oh, this is a comedy I want to see in the cinema. Like, most comedies that I know are coming out at the moment are Kevin Hart comedies or
Yeah.
Girls
But that's just
Trip.
because it's just
or-
not your type of comedy.
No, it's not my type of comedy, and it's just not my kind of movie, those kind of movies. But that's all I'm kind of seeing at the moment. I'm not,
No, I'll
I've
agree
not
with that.
seen any comedies that have really broken the mold or have gone like, this is great, it's funny, it's clever. Like, there's nothing coming out of the cinema now that really has done that for me recently.
Which is probably the reason why it's mostly been panned by awards.
Because it's not bankable, though, anymore, I don't
Well,
think.
there's that.
Anything that's
yeah.
like, so something like Spinal Tap, right? No one's going to make a movie like that because
Oh,
I don't
no.
think they would be able to sell it that well anymore.
Also, I feel like a lot of comedies get better if you watch them God knows how many years after they were actually
Yeah.
released.
Yeah.
Which
maybe
it doesn't really fit the format for Oscars and dramas and everything else like that.
Also, I think that comedy has had a very big kind of presence on Netflix as TV
Yes.
shows, as movies even. Even like the Adam Sandler movies that would lit up the cinemas is now on Netflix. Like he's got like a 6-movie deal with Netflix.
Yeah,
and he's
that's
just
right.
doing that.
Pumping them out.
He's just pumping them out. And yeah, I've seen quite a few comedy movies on Netflix coming out.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been many. Like I said,
They've moved
all
more to that platform, definitely, I think.
That's
Yeah.
its own space, I think.
Yeah.
And it probably works better that way, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. It's just like those big kind of bankable names
Yeah.
making the movies, like Karen said, like Kevin Hart. I guess, could you call The Disaster Artist to a point a comedy there?
Yeah, but it's in that same kind of genre as the BlacKkKlansman. You know, it's a comedy, but there's dramatic moments to it. It's a
I know,
true
but
story.
most of the comedies that you're interested in are like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My personal taste is comedy.
So you're not really that person that goes out and watches that movie that is just there to try and make you laugh.
No.
and that's
Exactly,
It.
yeah.
So
And I think
that's why.
That's why that's
Yeah.
hard, is because like film is so subjective
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
think every branch should be acknowledged, and
Yeah.
even the dumb pie in the face
Yeah,
humor
exactly.
should get acknowledged,
Yeah.
because it
Definitely.
does take skill still, and
Yeah.
it does make some people laugh. So
There's still
Yeah.
effort put into the movies.
But
Yeah,
you also
yeah.
have to admit, if you're watching the Oscars and then halfway through it's best comedy and you see a montage of really dumb comedies, it kind of breaks the flow a bit.
But I
I
think
mean, who cares?
I'm purely being devil's advocate.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying. Who
Yeah,
cares?
no, that's
do it, I'll
good.
fight you.
Bring it on.
Breaking the mold is what they need anyway.
Exactly.
No,
yeah,
that's
it's
fair.
so monotonous.
They do need it. I'm just saying it's probably why they don't do it, because it doesn't fit with their quote-unquote brand.
But I
Yeah,
don't think
the
that
Oscarbait,
best comedy,
exactly.
like in that way, you're saying, oh, just really, it's all going to be full of really dumb comedies. And I
Sorry,
think
but there's a lot of shit comedies
There
coming
are.
out.
there are, but I'm sure that there are comedies that do have that little bit more art and things go into them. You know, like the Kevin Hart ones I'm talking about do feel like they were pushed by a studio. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, let's put Kevin Hart in a school. And then there you go. But then there's other comedies that are silly comedies that may not be to my taste, but are clever and do have art.
Yeah.
Like, I don't find slapstick that enjoyable, but I know slapstick is an art form. There can
Yeah.
be bad slapstick and there can be great slapstick. And there's a reason for that. And I feel like with comedies at the moment, while I don't know of many that are great, I'm sure there are some.
But you
and
think
you
I
could...
think a lot of the ones that you're interested in and that I'm interested in as well aren't the ones that actually appear in cinemas anyway. It's like you said, they're the ones on Netflix and Stan and going through all these other third-party branches. And the Oscars doesn't really pay attention to that space,
No.
generally.
I watch a lot more comedy on TV than I do in
That
film
is,
anyway.
and that as well. It's
Most people, yeah.
Yeah.
It probably works better in TV as well.
Yeah, I like sitcoms and...
Which is why the Emmys
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
it
filled
lends
with those
itself.
categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The Emmys do, like, actually, you know, they have a comedy show.
They do, yeah.
I just think, there's
Yeah,
a little
and
bit...
They, the
And
half,
Veep won, what was it, like 5 years in a row now?
Yeah, Veep always wins.
well, yeah, half the categories are comedy based on in the Emmys, I'm pretty sure. Because you got Best Actor in a Comedy and...
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that
that's
would be a
what I
lot,
was going
yeah.
to say too, like, whenever actors are nominated at
Yeah.
the Oscars, it's never a comedian.
Oh,
No.
God, no.
And I'm just
no.
like, that's also a gap because,
Yeah.
again, that is a skill and to
It's a very-
comedic
yeah.
timing
Yeah.
is incredible how they do it. It's
Yeah.
like, it's a shame as well
Yeah.
that they're not acknowledged to
It
be like,
is.
that is, you are a great actor. You deserve Best Actor, even if it is a different taste and it's a different, like, it just
Yeah.
seems to lend itself, like we're talking about, to drama. It's like,
Yeah.
that proves that you're a good actor. It's like,
I find
There's
that
more to
it
life.
also lends itself to a very specific kind of dramatic performance. Subtle
Yes.
performances don't do well. Yeah. It's all things like Leonardo DiCaprio goes into the corpse of a bear or
They're more about dramatic change, that's why.
I was going to say, they're all about
Yeah.
transformation.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
plays a woman or...
have to transform
Yeah.
during the movie, and the actor has to transform
Well,
into this different thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
crap. What's his name? The guy who won Best Actor last year for the
Gary-
Winston
Gary
Churchill
Oldman.
movie. Because of his interpretation of Winston Churchill. That's
Yeah.
purely why.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I find that that's like that kind of imitation acting and that kind. If somebody does for me to feel like, oh, that was such a great performance. I love the more subtle act. Like we watched Unbreakable recently, and
Yeah, that was good.
it was good, and you know I really enjoyed it. But I thought that Bruce Willis's acting in it was the best I've ever seen him, and it was really subdued,
Yeah.
subtle, you know, and it was him as his own kind of character, and like Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner was very subdued
yeah.
and subtle, and like
But Ryan Gosling's been doing that character for a while. You've just not seen Drive.
no, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
it's Ryan Gosling being Ryan Gosling in an
Gosling.
alternate
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah, or even him in Place Beyond the Pines. I don't know if you've seen that. That Drive and 20 what is it, 2049?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're all
2049.
they're all very similar.
It's like a trilogy of movies.
They all
on
are
that character.
That character is very similar, except Place Beyond the Pines probably a little bit
It's the-
more
probably the-
outlandish. Yeah, out of it.
Blade Runner and Drive is basically the same.
Basically the exact same
thing.
character.
Yeah, it's great.
but no, I can see that with Ryan Gosling, but most kind of best actor nominations, and it's more so in the actor category. The actress category has a little bit more leeway. Unless Meryl Streep's nominated, then it doesn't.
Well, it's a bit more diversity.
Yeah, there's a bit more diversity, but the best actor is usually plays either transgender person or true life person
Yep.
and encapsulates them in a biopic
Yep.
about their life. And I'm just a bit tired of that now.
Exactly. It's shit. It is
Yeah.
really shit.
Yeah.
It's a shame I like those movies. But it is shit that that's the brand that they want to go with as this kind of prestigious, professional, like, art form.
Yeah,
Even
a
though they're-
measure of success.
Yeah,
It's like,
and they're
you have
ignoring
to-
half of it.
Yeah. And I think imitation isn't a skill per
No.
se. Like I think it's good and it's impressive still. But yeah, like you were saying, I think if they created a character, you know,
Yeah.
they're given a script and then they can morph it
Yeah.
and they give the character nuances and they make them rather than like, oh, I need to play Obama. Cool, he does
Yeah.
these 6 things.
Yeah.
Like I'll just do them and like that. I don't know.
I think
Maybe that's just me.
they both take skill, just a different set of skills.
Well, it's like, okay, so Lord of the Rings, Return of the King won, was it 9 Oscars? Were any of those for actually for acting?
I doubt it.
No, it did win Best
It did
Picture.
win Best Picture.
And then it would all be sound production,
yeah,
Yeah.
so the
and
rest
special
of it
effects.
would have been all of
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
It's like when Mad Max won a lot of awards, and it was purely for a lot of the
Well,
production.
Simon will know all
Exactly.
about that. What did it win, Simon?
I would not know because I don't care about the Oscars in the slightest.
Yeah.
True.
I've studied film for more years than I can count, and I never watched the Oscars.
But who does?
No,
It's just,
It's a boring thing to watch.
it is. And I've watched a few because my flatmate used to love them when I was living with him, and he used to watch all of the Oscarbait movies.
Yeah.
And 1 year or 2 years, I did get into that, watching them with him, then watching the Oscars, and like.
It didn't. Yeah, it did. Sorry, it didn't win a single acting award.
No, it wouldn't.
No,
have.
it wouldn't have. And that's the thing. When I did do that, I noticed such a pattern with these films. And I find that, especially with the acting kind of skill, like Lord of the Rings, Andy Serkis created Gollum in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it was transforming. It was everything like that. But because he was behind motion capture,
Ignored.
Then there's things like Grand Budapest Hotel,
Yeah.
which won all of the production design awards, everything, but didn't win Best Director, despite the fact that Wes Anderson is an influential director, and didn't win any acting awards, despite the fact that the performances were great.
Was Grand Budapest Hotel classified as a comedy?
It was, again, in that kind of...
Yeah, I'm
space.
sure they kind of
I mean, you
half
could
classified it. Yeah,
You could have.
Because
I'd say yes.
because was it it would have been nominated for Best Picture.
it was.
I
It
presume.
was.
Yeah.
But
It
it wouldn't have
didn't
been
win.
nominated for
Yeah.
a specific category, probably because that category doesn't exist in the Oscars.
No,
Snubbed.
those categories don't exist in the Oscars,
That's
though.
what I mean, yeah.
It's animated or Best Picture, and then the
Yeah.
rest are about the parts of the film, like Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Screenplay.
Actually,
Sorry,
Grand
that's-
Budapest is classed as drama crime film as well.
What? I've not seen it. What the fuck?
That's strange.
That's
It is
weird.
technically go on there.
Crime? Crime?
Technically a painting stolen.
So it's like one scene.
Okay, there's a
It's
crime.
one scene.
I'm just clicking on.
I would
random-
have said dramedy with crime elements.
Yeah, I'm just clicking on random Wes Anderson films now just to see what they're classed as, and none of them so far have comedy in it.
That's strange.
I mean,
Yeah.
Darjeeling, which I feel is one of the highest comedies out of all of them, closest to maybe a comedy out of all of them. Would you
Maybe?
feel? I mean, that's just drama indie film.
Yeah, it is drama.
It's got
Rush-
drama. I'm not denying the
Rushmore,
drama part
maybe?
of it.
That's more
I'm not
comedic.
denying. Yeah, I'm not denying the drama part of it.
Let's see.
I mean, I
don't
wonder
know.
if
Yeah,
this
okay,
is just
yeah.
a...
So Rushmore has the comedy part.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you go.
fair enough. I was just wondering if that was a symptom of the fact that the Oscars doesn't recognize comedy.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, oh, we better call it
yeah.
this.
But a crime
Let's
film,
sneak it
there's a
in,
crime
yeah.
in it.
Life Aquatic is drama adventure.
Well, yeah. Life
Kind
Aquatic is a lot more dramatic. It is. There is some funny
I'm not
lines.
denying the drama in any of them.
Yeah.
It's the other factor
You
that they're
You could
putting it
classify any movie as a drama, though.
with. Yeah.
Yeah.
But comedy
Yeah.
is subjective like that too. There's a lot of movies
Yeah.
that have comedy and it doesn't make them a comedy.
Yeah, that's true.
But all right, Simon, you
Yes.
can talk on this as well. We both studied film together. Were we, while we were studying film, ever screened a movie that's known to be influential that was influential because it won many awards? Like, I can't think of one
No.
major award-winning film that we were shown. Maybe the older ones, because the Oscars
Because
back
that
then,
actually started to, yeah.
But like the more recent ones they showed us,
No.
No.
Yeah, so
Oscarbait, no.
did they ever show you something like, I don't know,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some.
I'm sorry, I had it in my head and I've
damn.
lost it.
Who's in it? What is it?
The Kubrick space film. I've forgotten.
2001?
Space Odyssey.
Yeah,
No.
because that won Best Picture or something, didn't it? I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
We may have talked about it a little bit, but it was in our genre course.
Yeah.
The sci-fi film that they showed us was actually Terminator.
Yeah.
And
I
there
think
was another-
Terminator won some.
It was Terminator and
Possibly.
I can't
I
think
feel
of
like
the
it
other
might.
one.
T2 might have. I don't know
Yeah.
about the first one.
I don't think the first one might
Yeah.
have. I'm not sure.
I'm not
Purely
sure.
going from the one course that I did, genre film, where they showed us like a particular film from many genres. It was, sci-fi was Terminator. We saw a Bollywood film.
Yeah.
We
Which
saw...
was insane.
Oh, Doom is great. I will highly recommend Doom 2. It is,
Doom to the Bollywood.
yes.
Movie? Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's like you can't
I'm
even.
gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's great. Then we watched like some blaxploitation films, so Foxy Brown.
Around.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
And then there was, I can't think of it. Horror was The Orphanage. That was Guillermo
I
del
skipped
Toro.
that week because I do not like J horror. And we
Oh, did you do?
Oh,
what did you
I
have
didn't
to
watch the J horror one.
What
I
was
watched
the-
The
what was the
Orphanage.
J
I think it
horror
was The Grudge.
Oh, was the
Grudge.
Grudge?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not
no,
for me.
I actually, I slept in that week. It was an 8 a.m. lecture and I decided not to watch it.
You weren't gonna watch The Grudge at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
That's
the
nuts.
best. That would
What a
have
way
been the
to
best
start your
time.
day.
That would be the best time to watch The Grudge because you're not going to get scared because it's 8 a.m.
No, you're just gonna be tired.
The
and be
lecture
like,
hall gets
"Whoa."
pretty dark.
Yeah.
Scary.
You'll be scared. You'll be screwed for the whole day. The Grudge is fucked. The Grudge
Yeah.
is nuts.
We watched like some melodrama. So that's in the genre film. In like the intro to film course, it was like Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Night,
yeah.
which may have won some awards.
Yeah, I think it did.
It did.
I think
yeah.
it did, yes.
Then there was like, I'm just trying to think back. There was Juno for some reason. There was a
fucking hate
reason
Juno.
for that. I don't remember.
There was
what.
Wizard of Oz. I'm sure that won awards.
Yeah.
I think whoever said it is right. Like the further you go back, the more those things start to
Yeah.
align.
Yeah.
Interesting films and award-winning films.
And you can understand
Yeah.
why they won because
Some-
at
Yeah.
the time they actually did something interesting and different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
But-
lost that along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like the study of film ignores the Oscars because that's not what
Yeah.
film's really about. If you're studying film, it's more of a different type of film. Like, a lot of people ask me, like, oh, but what films did you study if you didn't study, like, the Oscars? And it would be like, I watched The Big Lebowski, that was one, and that's a seminal film for its own reasons, but people don't seem to understand the kind of difference, I think.
Yeah.
They think that if you study film, you must know everything about the Oscars.
I think it's just widely accepted now that the Oscars are purely just a business run marketing scheme that doesn't really have a lot of credibility to it.
Yeah.
Like I was saying before, in terms of the acting, none of them really care about the Oscars. They care about the paycheck that comes afterwards.
Yeah.
Because your credibility goes right up, and then the jobs you get offered go skyrocketing. But in terms of actually getting credit for what you've worked on, a lot of them prefer Screen Actors Guild because they're the ones who do the craft, and they're judging you, and being judged by your own peers and saying that you're great by your own peers is a really powerful thing compared to producers in their 80s who just know who just know the business
have
really
no
well.
touch on reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So did we want to go into this week's bunker battle?
Yes, please.
Did we want to do that? Okay.
I need to think of what it's because I still need to
because
think
I'm
of
sure
one.
Karen has not thought of one.
No.
That's why.
Well, we've been talking about the Oscars a lot, so you have an Oscarbait?
Yeah, I was going to actually, that's what I was
Two
going to do.
Oscarbait.
Oscarbait.
Shall, while you think, shall I actually explain what it is?
Yes, I've got until you finish explaining and then I'll choose them.
So, if you haven't watched before, the bunker battles, where we take a look at two different pieces of screen media and we debate which one should be preserved in the bunker for all time when the world is destroyed. So, Karen is going to give us our two if she's thought of them.
Okay, Gladiator is one. Because I know that won Best Picture.
Don't look at me when you say that. I haven't
And-
seen Gladiator.
Oh, God.
And he's going to pick another year.
Yeah, someone pick a year. We'll just do it that way.
Do you know all of the Oscar winners?
2007.
2007. Yeah.
You're not going to know. Exactly.
All right, what's the 2007 Best Picture winner?
Gladiator and Mad Max?
This is going to be a real weird one.
No,
Yeah.
Mad Max was picked 2015.
No, I know. I'm just
It
saying.
was
like,
The Departed.
Oh, well, then
The
Mad Max
Departed.
would fucking
The
win.
Departed.
Nice.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll go with The
Yeah,
Departed.
let's do it. Gladiator versus The
I
Departed.
enjoyed that film.
I love that film.
What the fuck is The Departed?
That's what Leonardo DiCaprio should have won his Oscar for.
Yeah, he should have, really. I'm going to go Gladiator, just because.
I have no love for that film at all.
Look, my auntie, it's her favourite film, and so I watched it quite a fair bit, and yeah, the Unleash Hell bit I like, so I'm
I'm
putting
also
it in
going
there.
with Gladiator because I think I've seen The Departed, but I don't remember it all.
Yeah, you a co-op. I remember from it.
You can put that in any crime movie that has Italians.
You a co-op. Yeah, you're Italian. You should probably, like, people might lynch you if you don't vote The Departed, if it's like Italian
people are gonna
American.
kill me.
I don't think everyone in Italy just watches The Departed. Like,
They
on
will
a
all
yearly
watch
basis.
Goodfellas. Here's
Okay.
something
Oh, for sure.
about
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Italians.
Italians like Goodfellas, The Godfather, and Rocky. That's
Yeah.
what they
But
like.
that's
Rocky,
like
they love.
understandable.
Yeah.
Maybe not Rocky, but Goodfellas.
Oh, Rocky, because
I'm not saying it's bad.
Italian.
Yeah,
That's
true. I
why.
guess.
Yeah,
I
he's
guess.
Italian-American.
But Goodfellas and Godfather I get completely.
Yeah.
But Rocky's a weird one.
It's because, he's
I know
the
why.
underdog and he comes
Yeah, they all love Rocky. That's one thing that...
Rocky is a good movie.
I'm not saying it's bad.
It won Best Picture, and then I think Rocky 2 won Best Picture as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
no,
following
I'm
year.
not
We
saying,
should have just done Rocky vs. Rocky 2. That would have been...
I'm not saying they're bad. I just find it interesting that like those are the movies Italians specifically.
Well, Rocky is more Italian Americans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. But you two are going Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator.
Dear Lord.
I remember it.
The Departed for me, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I loved the twists, which I won't spoil, but
Yeah, I haven't seen
very,
it either.
very good film.
Yeah, so Ben, I guess this is up to you.
Yeah.
Oh no, I know. I'm going The Departed because I mean it's got Leo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, and according to Wikipedia, the opening song is like "Shipping Up to Boston"
Yeah.
by I forget that band's
Dropkick
name.
Murphys.
Dropkick Murphys. Like,
Yeah,
come on, that's awesome.
You know what? This makes me want to actually watch The Departed because I don't think I've seen it. I thought I did, but
Let's
I
do
don't. Yeah, let's just watch Departed
I will
after this.
genuinely say The Departed's been a movie that I've wanted to watch for a long time and just never really got around to doing it. Gladiator, I have not given a shit about ever in my life.
I enjoyed it, and I liked it for what it was.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about
Well,
it. I don't
Russell
really
Crowe.
care. I just don't care about it. Departed seems more
He
interesting.
fights a lion.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was, to be honest, Gladiator is long And it's like,
It's
I've
pretty
only
long,
ever seen it on a Sunday afternoon, and I remember just having a lot of naps when Gladiator's on. It's one of those
That's always
films.
a good sign.
I like those films though, that you put on
Engaged.
and you
lull you
can
to sleep.
nap.
Is The
Yeah.
Departed like 3 hours or something? Is The Departed? I remember The
I
Departed.
didn't feel
being
like it
quite
was
long.
Yeah.
long. I don't.
I feel like that was the reason I never watched it, because I'm like, oh, it's so long. I remember being like nearly 3 hours at least from memory.
I feel like I might have watched it in 2 goes, so I don't have a good grasp on how long.
that doesn't help.
People there were guns, and I was entertained.
Yeah.
I'll go The Departed, but for no credible reason whatsoever.
I love it. That's
So
perfect.
really,
Yeah.
like, it's 2.5 to 2.
Is this how the Oscars actually
Yes,
do it though?
yes, exactly.
Like, I can imagine the Academy in a room like this and just going like, I don't like Russell Crowe, so I'm just gonna just do this one instead.
I'm going
like,
The Departed because it was on TV last week, and it was a good watch.
What about La La Land?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
How's music? in
Oh, that fucking movie. Oh, that makes me angry now. Ah.
it? Yay! Congrats, Departed.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
All right, so The Departed got in, and
Yay.
I think we'll just wrap it up there, and we'll actually go watch it now.
It's in the bunker, so
I hope
So-
it earns that.
A movie got in that barely any of us have watched. That's great. I love this
Like,
format. I love this format.
Alrighty, so we'll see you guys next time, and remember to like and subscribe and all those good things. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.